This is a nail down and refinish project we recently completed. As we began the nail down part of the project, we carefully moved and stored all furniture. The carpet was cut, removed, and then neatly placed outside, ready for city bulk pickup. The plywood subfloor was swept of debris. We then rolled out and installed number 15 roofing felt as a moisture barrier. A chalk line was used to give us a straight line before we could top nail the first row. After that, we began nailing the tongue and attaching the groove with our 45-degree pneumatic nailer. The process repeated itself until we reached the end of the room. At that point, the pneumatic nail gun ran out of space to operate, so we used a top nailer for the last row in order to complete the nail down process. Once the nailing process was completed, the floor had to sit for a 2-week period that allowed the new hardwood time for acclimating to the moisture in the home and settling in to its new environment. In this particular job, our client wanted a new red oak hardwood floor installed and their existing hardwood to be refinished. The new and old hardwood were sanded and stained with the same color so that both floors had that brand new look when they were completed. The refinishing process began with, as always, carefully moving and storing all furniture. Then the sanding began by using coarse, medium, and fine grit sandpaper. Our drum sander was needed for the middle of the room to level the floor and remove old poly and stain. Our edger was used for the outer areas of the floor where the drum sander could not reach. Once the sanding was completed, samples of stain color were placed on the floor for the client. Once the client approved the color, we began staining the floor. A special applicator was used to apply the stain. Any excess stain was removed by hand with a flannel cloth so that the color had consistency and the stain was distributed evenly. Once the stain dried, the first coat of polyurethane was applied with a special lamb's wool applicator. Before the second and final coat was applied, the first coat was given a sufficient amount of time to dry. The floor was then screened with a very fine grit sandpaper in order to prepare the floor for the final coat. The final coat of polyurethane was applied in the same process as before. After the final coat was applied, the client was able to walk on the floor within 24 to 48 hours. Please note that the amount of time needed depends on the moisture content in the weather. It is also recommended that no furniture be placed on the floor for at least 2 weeks after completion of the last coat so that the curing process can be completed. This will ensure that no furniture will dent the finish and will be noticeable when the furniture is moved or resale time for the home occurs. I hope you have found this information helpful and will give the floorman a call before you start your next nail down or hardwood refinishing project.